Hey, it's Jahara. Welcome back to my channel, to the Witchy Reader. So I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be reading a snippet from my first novella in my long novella series. I'm working on novella 8, there's going to be 10, and this one is called Callista's Adventures Preventing a War. And in here there's an enemies to lovers arc, and a sapphic, and it's a vampire and a human. A demon and a saint, if you will. And yeah, so obviously lots of trouble. The chapter I'm going to be reading from is chapter 6, Cave. Callista sat in the darkness of the cave. Joan left to find firewood and food. She didn't realize this was the cave the map was directing them to. She used to run off here in her human days to get away from her life. You have to pass a lake, and she used to love to skip on the stones, trying not to fall into the water. But if she did, she would just laugh and splash in the water. It was the only joy she had. Until the day her father followed her and got angry. According to him, a dark and creepy cave is not for a proper lady, either skipping stones or splashing in water like a child. Callista shot back with, "I'm not a proper lady, nor do I ever want to be." That made her father angry. He dragged her back to town by her hair, causing a bunch of people to come over to see the commotion. He yelled at her in front of the entire townspeople, trying to humiliate her, but she wouldn't let him. She wasn't ashamed of the way she was, no matter how many people tried to make her feel ashamed. She yelled back at him, telling all his secrets that nobody knew. Because as a woman, men didn't think necessary to hide their secrets from them, because they were insignificant, because nobody thought she mattered. She collected secrets, ready for the day of her revenge. He couldn't humiliate her, but she could humiliate him, which of course only made things worse. He hit her several times in front of everyone. She was on the ground, bleeding. He gave her one final warning, but of course she didn't listen to it. She swung her legs over his, tripping him. Then she got up swiftly and placed her boot on top of his hand as he yelled. As he laid on his stomach, she grabbed his arm, bending it backwards as his screams got louder. Everyone was surprised that she knew a thing or two about fighting. No one taught her, of course, but she taught herself. Only a few moves in case of danger, and she needs to protect herself. Just because you're a man doesn't mean you have the right, Callista spat, the right to be a phlegmatus. It's a Greek word. I add a few Greek words here and there because she is half Greek. The right to act as if you own everything. The right to treat me like I'm Quisquillian, another Greek word that I'm probably pronouncing wrong, because I'm a woman. The right to harm me. You don't have that right. I won't let you. Callista grabbed his hair and swung his head into the concrete, not hard enough for brain damage, only hard enough to scrape his head. Then she stood on a rather large boulder facing the civilians. "We don't have to put up with this. Women are stronger than men. Women run the world. Men try to belittle us and make us believe the other way because they're afraid. The moment we find out just how powerful we are and see that all they are is exibros, we can take control, and they don't want that. So instead they gaslight us. Well, I say no more. I say we stand up and we fight for our rights as human beings." Callista watched everyone, mostly the women, to see their response. Men started yelling at her, but she ignored them, clinging to the hope that this world could be better. But then the women started yelling too, causing her to frown. They looked shaken and scared, afraid of their men. Callista kept her head held high, not letting them see her upset. That was the last day of her normal life. The town forced her to leave. They were tired of her antics and troublemaking, of her trying to change things for the better, of women she thought her life was bad before that. That was the day Caleb kidnapped her, the day her life truly ended, as far as she was concerned. That was the day she died. Khaleesi snapped out of her thoughts when she heard a noise. Her head jerked up. Joan walked in with firewood and a bag swung over her shoulder. "Sorry," Joan apologized, setting everything down. "I didn't mean to startle you." "I don't startle." "Right. What's all that?" Khaleesi asked. "I told you I was getting firewood," Joan replied. "I meant the bag, you imbecile." "Not an imbecile, and I went into town, got us plenty of food for the trip." "You stole?" Khaleesi smirked. "Perhaps I underestimated you." "I didn't steal. I had money on me when the goddess Athena transported us to Athens." Callista frowned. "Then I overestimated you." "Have you stolen?" Joan asked. "I don't do small talk." "It's just a simple question." "Yes," Callista replied. "Stealing is a sin. Everything with you is a sin." Joan rolled her eyes. "And I've done a hell of a lot worse than stealing." "Aren't you worried?" Joan picked up rocks and started to scratch them together, trying to start a fire. "About what?" "Going to hell." "Not really. Why not?" Callista took the rocks from her and scratched them once, creating a spark as fire began to form, and threw the fire to the side. "Because I'll deserve it. So you're aware that you're a demon." "I'm a hell of a lot worse. Trust me." Why do you act ashamed? Is it an act? Demons can't feel emotion. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll make sure to follow the demon rule book from now on. Joan glared at her. No need for sarcasm. There's always a need for sarcasm. It's how I cope. Cope for what? Stupid people? I'm not stupid. Of course not. Joan sighed. You're impossible. I know. Do you want to pe- Do you want people to like you? Joan asked. No. Police replied. I'd rather people hate me. Why? Because. She stared at her. Joan stared at her. People have made up their mind about me a long time ago. Callista explained. There's no point in trying to change it, in trying to fit in. I wasn't made for that. If people hate me, then they won't get close to me. I like it like that. Joan gasped, eyes wide. You're afraid of getting hurt. Callista scoffed. I'm not. It's the only reason why you wouldn't want people to get close to you. Maybe I just like to be alone. I don't buy that. And why not? Nobody likes to be alone. Not all the time. Callista stared at her in silence. Joan's eyes flickered to the fire. How did you create the fire so quickly? Callista shrugged. I have a lot of useful and some dangerous tricks up my sleeves. The two stared at each other for several heartbeats in complete silence. No one spoke. There was just the sound of leaves rustling, the rain sputtering on the ground outside the cave. The silence made them both uncomfortable. I'm going to sleep, Callista spoke. Joan nodded. Me too. The two turned away from each other as they lay down, trying to sleep and trying to ignore the other. That was their first real conversation because before this they did nothing but fight, and in the next chapter Callista kind of holds a knife up to Joan because, like I said, this is an enemies to lovers and they cannot stand each other, but they are starting to get somewhere. Um, but yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the little snippet, and I will please like and subscribe and comment, and I will talk to you guys later.